In Demand Toy Facebook group, they gave us our first images of what is going to be yet another addition to the 2020 Walmart Wave 2 of G1 reissues. And it is going to be the fan favorite character of G1 Soundwave. Now, this one doesn't surprise me because we've already in the past, just in America, have gotten a Soundwave reissue before. The only thing that's worth really noting that's different about it this time around was when we got the original Generation 1 Soundwave over here in America when he was reissued the first time. He had this he had a very classics looking kind of box from the 2006 classics line. The mold that they used was actually the G1 Sound Blaster mold. Now, the only difference between those two was G1 Sound Blaster had a little bit of a larger cassette door and a cassette chest, so he could hold 2 cassettes instead of 1 in his chest. And that was kind of a cool thing, but it made the toy didn't look as flush in robot mode and in alt mode because the cassette door didn't close flush to the body. But it was more a gimmick of that old Sound Blaster mold that people, didn't have in America. So it was kind of
like reading that news. That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, what was the big difference between the two, and is it a big loss that you can't put in those two? Extra?
Well, it's like when it came out in 2000. I think the original reissue came out in 2008 or 2009. I didn't buy it because I have a Sound Blaster and I have an original G1 Soundwave. But the only thing that was cool about it was just if you didn't have that Sound Blaster mold, you at least were able to experience how that gimmick worked. That you could have 2 cassettes in the chest at once, which in a lot of ways emulates Soundwave in the show more accurately because he could have more than 1 cassette in his chest that he would be ejecting. But at the same time, visually, it didn't look like the original 1984 toy that we were familiar with. Even in Japan, it wasn't like that. It was the same old, only the Sound Blaster black repaint was like that. So this time around, we're getting the original G1 Sound Blaster mold from 1984, pre-rub, not with the rub sign on the cassette door, the original pre-rub rub sign, non-rub sign Decepticon logo, and it comes with Buzzsaw. I was seeing comments about this, and it's funny how people are quick to forget. Original G1 Soundwave came with Buzzsaw. He didn't come with Laserbeak. There has been throughout Soundwave's lineage. Like when he was in the Cybertron toy line, he came with a Laserbeak like kind of character. When he came out in the Titanium's toy line, he came with Laserbeak. I understand Laserbeak is the more iconic of the two, but the original G1 Soundwave came with Buzzsaw. It was just how it was back in the day. They were making the most of those molds. Rumble and Frenzy, Buzzsaw, and Laserbeak. They had the repaint brothers, as I like to call them. So this and the reality is they want to be true to the original G1 release. Because if you look at the box is emulating the original G1 Soundwave box to a T. It comes with Buzzsaw, which would be accurate. It's doing everything that it needs to do. Even in terms of the missiles and stuff that'll come with it, Soundwave came with very large chrome, I guess we could call them what's the word I'm looking for? Like anchor kind of missiles, like harpoon missiles. So I don't even think they'll have to change the size of them for safety reasons. So everything will work out pretty good this time around. This will probably be a 1-for-1 reissue that won't be too different from the original G1 release. It's not something that we've been lacking because there's been plenty of reissues from Japan of G1 Soundwave, both Sound Blaster and Soundwave. There's been the one reissue that we at least got in America from the Classics line in 2008, 2009, 2010. You'd have to correct me on that. It's one of those years. It was a Toys R Us exclusive. And then, not to mention, we had the Masterpiece ones that came out that really kind of, even though it's a totally different toy, it kind of does the same thing that audience would be looking for. You know what I mean? The people who collect original G1 reissues are the same kind of people that would be interested in a Masterpiece. So, and G1 Soundwave does a very good job of being that character perfectly. So this is really cool. So now we know more about 2020's Walmart line. So now we know Optimus Prime without his trailer. We have confirmed because Astrotrain won the voting, and now we have G1 Soundwave. So we got the 3 now. Soundwave's pricing, at this point, he's probably going to be the most expensive of the bunch. But at the end of the day, it's still pretty cool that, once again, people are getting an opportunity to get him. The only sad thing is, at the end of the day, if he's going to be the most expensive of the bunch, is he going to be $49.99, $59.99? Because I'll be honest, I sell G1 Soundwaves at my table at like TFCon or at any show, and this is Canadian currency, I'm going to say here, $40 to $50 complete sometimes. So it's going to be a list, which is like, 30 to 40 American. So it's again one of those situations where you could buy the reissue, but with the same money that the reissue costs, you could get the same figure complete loose in most cases of the vintage. So it really matters. Do you want to have it mint in box all nice and sexy like with the original G1 box look? Or do you want to just have the figure loose complete, and you could own the original, and it'll probably be in just as good condition. Yeah. So that's another thing you have to factor in. There's no release date. There's no information. We just know that it's going to be part of the 2020 toy line, which now we could say, because it's 2019, next year. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely check that out.